So the U.S. men's national team is close to missing the World Cup in 2018. There's 2 games left. They need at least probably 1 win or 2 draws out of the last 2 games. So there is a chance they could still miss out. And this is good because it brings up big picture questions about American soccer as a whole, because the most visibility American soccer gets right now is through the World Cup and the men's national team. I, big picture, want the U.S. national team to miss the World Cup in 2018. Now, some might dismiss this and say, oh, well, you're just not patriotic. You're rooting for your own team to lose. But what about the benefits long term? Will this kind of disaster or failure lead to a majority of people finally waking up and calling for systemic change in American soccer? And that's my hope and why I want this to occur. As I said before, visibility for American soccer really comes into view when World Cup time rolls around. And I'm 27 years old. I've been watching the national team since I can remember, since 1995. So I've seen us qualify for 98, 02, 06, 2010, 2014. And qualifying is no longer an issue for us. And being that the U.S. national team sits in a weak North and Central America CONCACAF region, it's basically a cakewalk to qualify. There's a little bit of work, but it's very easy compared to other regions. Qualifying isn't saying much, and as you see with the spectrum of results in the World Cup finals over the years, in the last 32, the U.S. national team is a group stage team that can maybe get into the last 16, if fortunate. So, bigger picture, missing the World Cup will finally, I think, get many mainstream media outlets, sports outlets, news outlets involved in the conversation about the future of American soccer. It will ask the tough questions of our leadership, our U.S. Soccer Federation, and those in charge, since they are the one who controls American soccer structural policy. If you look at the player pool for a national team, we rewind back to maybe the early 2000s, 2002, you can't really say that the 2017 pool is much better. Maybe a little bit deeper in terms of, kind of the off-the-radar type national team players, the ones who are really not going to make an impact. Maybe there's a little more depth there, but as far as the first team, the top 23, we are pretty much not better than the 2002 team as a whole. And I don't think if you look back, if you would have looked ahead 15 years ago, you would have thought that was possible. But clearly we're stagnating as an American soccer program as a whole. And there's a kind of a small group that's speaking up for change and an open promotion relegation system for all American people. But a big event, a big sort of disaster like this, well, it will be one step back in the near term. In the long term, I think it could be 2, 3, 4, 5 steps forward. We've had Jurgen Klinsmann, I think it was back in 2010, he called for systemic change. He kind of ruffled some feathers when it came to implementing a promotion relegation system, and he got chased away. We went back to kind of the status quo old guard in terms of our national team coach. So an event like this, I think, will finally awaken general American soccer public pressure. It will wake many, many people in the general population up, and they will start demanding real answers from our American Soccer Federation. So general population involvement in the conversation about the future of American soccer, and also mainstream sports media and news media in America will finally start asking the tough questions of our program. And if we don't ask the tough questions, we're not going to make progress, especially in American soccer that has really stagnated over the last few decades. So if you like this video, make sure to share it out all across social media and also subscribe to my channel right here. and I'll talk to you soon.